We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Rescue efforts continue in Taiwan. 9 people killed and over 1,000 injured in 7.4 earthquake. Pressure mounts on Israel after their strike on aid workers. White House says President Biden outraged. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin calls Israeli counterpart urges swift and transparent probe. Mortal remains of foreign aid workers killed in Israeli strike transported to Egypt for repatriation. UN suspends aid movements at night in Gaza. And campaigning underway in full swing for India's general elections. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold public rallies in Bihar and West Bengal. And the news in detail now. Emergency reinforcement works are being carried out after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit China's Taiwan region on Wednesday morning. The quake severely tilted many high-rise buildings. A 10-story structure that housed a mix of homes and shops was tilted over and appeared to be on the verge of collapse. The fire department reported a 5-centimeter increase in the building displacement, indicating the risk of collapse due to constant aftershocks. The fire department also dispatched tower cranes, excavators and trucks to position large rocks to support the structure and prevent its full collapse. Many residents managed to flee when shock waves hit, with rescuers working to free people trapped inside. As per the local emergency operations center, the quake had left 9 people dead and more than 1,000 people have been injured. Well, some buildings tilted at precarious angles in the mountainous, sparsely populated county of Hualien near the epicenter of the quake. The quake also triggered massive landslides. 50 workers traveling in minibuses to a hotel in a national park were missing. The earthquake hit at a depth of 15.5 kilometers. People were headed for work and school. Many residents who dared not to stay at home overnight were accepted at temporary shelters. The fire authority said they had already evacuated around 70 people trapped in tunnels near Hualien city. Meanwhile, Taiwan has started the demolition of hazardous buildings in Hualien, which were badly damaged by the quake. Excavators were seen tearing down buildings which have been marked for demolition in the Hualien county. Mayor Hsu Chen-wei said the demolition of the 4 tilted buildings would take at least 2 days, with residents and businesses evacuated. She added rescuers continued their search.
We hope to complete the demolition in 2 days' time. There are 4 buildings in total. The buildings are tilted and they are at security risk. After discussing with the residents and turning off the water pipes and security, we started the demolition.
And the powerful earthquake was also captured by the cameras in a newsroom during a live broadcast. The anchors on air kept speaking and delivering news while the studio was visibly shaken and lights swaying violently overhead were seen. Taiwan rescuers dispatched helicopters to airlift people trapped in the mountainous areas of Hualien. The tremor focused on the largely rural and sparsely populated eastern county of Hualien. And in India's Patrick Falk reports for more from Ground Zero itself.
Well, one of those demolition jobs you were talking about just a moment ago is taking place right here behind me. This is a 37-year-old commercial building that, as you can see, was badly affected by the quake. It's been on a heavy tilt since the quake struck yesterday, and now workers are busy trying to bring it down. And as far as I understand, what they're doing is they're building up a rubble in front of the building so they can then lay it forward gently, as it were, tower. It does look as though it could be coming down any moment now because they're boarding up the area around it to protect the people that are watching the situation right now. But you know, what's remarkable here in Hualien is that this is actually the exception, and there are very few peoples that have fared as badly as this. Most of the other buildings around are still standing, they are still intact. So there are some questions being asked about the integrity, the structural integrity of buildings that have been badly damaged, and questions being raised about whether or not anyone is to blame. But as we know, buildings in Taiwan is prone to earthquakes, so buildings are built to withstand these sorts of disasters, and they were really put to the test yesterday. Yeah, well, the tsunami warnings were taken down pretty soon after the initial quake struck yesterday. But, you know, as I say, this situation is incredibly uncertain. There have been more than 200 aftershocks, according to some experts, some of them measuring greater than magnitude 6 on the Richter scale. And authorities have said that the further shocks that are expected over the course of the next 3 or 4 days could be nearly as big as that initial quake that hit yesterday. And as we've said before many times, this is the largest earthquake that Taiwan has experienced in at least 25 years. And, you know, speaking to people here, they have been emotionally and physically shaken by it. Most people have never seen anything like this before. They've described a sort of violent shaking that took place yesterday, and they're all hoping that there won't be any sort of repeat of what they saw.
And now an update on Israel-Hamas conflict. Pressure mounts on Israel after the airstrike on 8 workers. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin on Wednesday urged Israel to take concrete steps to protect aid workers and civilians in Gaza. In a call with his Israeli counterpart, Yoav Gallant, Secretary Austin expressed his outrage at the Israeli strike on a World Central Kitchen humanitarian aid convoy that killed 7 aid workers, including an American citizen. Pentagon, in a statement, said that Austin also urged Gallant to conduct a swift and transparent investigation, to share the conclusions publicly, and to hold those responsible to account. The United States says it wants to see a swift Israeli investigation into an attack that killed 7 aid workers of World Central Kitchen in Gaza. The State Department spokesperson told media that Israel needs to put in place better deconfliction and coordination measures to protect humanitarian workers and civilians on the ground.
The Israelis have said to us, and they've said publicly, that they intend to conduct this investigation swiftly. We want to see it wrapped up as soon as possible, and see them put in place any measures to prevent this from happening again in the future. And that's go to the second point that we think we need to see. Not just, and they don't have to wait for the outcome of this investigation to do it. They need to put in place better deconfliction and better coordination measures to protect humanitarian workers and to protect all the civilians on the ground.
Well, the White House said President Biden was outraged and heartbroken for the death of 7 aid workers by an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. Biden on Tuesday called the charity aid group's founder to share his condolences. Biden told WCK founder Jose Andres that he will make clear to Israel that aid workers must be protected.
He's outraged and he's heartbroken. We are all heartbroken here by those 7 lives lost. And so we are going to continue to mourn with them, with Chef Jose Andres and obviously the families.
Well, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese slammed Israel's explanation for aid attack. Albanese said that Israel's explanation for killing 7 aid workers is insufficient and unacceptable. Israel said on Tuesday it mistakenly killed workers of charity World Central Kitchen.
We need to have accountability for how it's occurred. And what isn't good enough is the statements that have been made, including that this is just a product of war. This is against humanitarian law. International humanitarian law makes it very clear that aid workers should be able to provide that aid and that assistance free of the threat of losing their life.
Well, the United Nations also suspended movements at night in Gaza for at least 48 hours to evaluate security issues following the killing of staff working for the World Central Kitchen food charity. The suspension started on Tuesday. The World Food Programme is continuing operations during the day.
We've suspended our nighttime movements within the Gaza Strip for at least 48 hours to allow for further evaluation of the security issues that impact our personnel on the ground and, of course, the civilian population we are efforting to help. And this follows the killing of the World Central Kitchen staff on Monday. That's, of course, for nighttime movements. During the day, our colleagues of the World Food Programme tell us that operations are continuing, including daily efforts to send convoys to the north.
Well, in an emotional interview to Reuters news agency, celebrity chef Joe Sanders said that an Israeli attack that killed 7 of his food aid workers in Gaza had targeted them systematically, car by car.
The team was coming from dropping in a warehouse we had south of Gaza in Doordarshan. All the food they were able to download before it got too dark. We were in an area that is kind of a secure area, what they call a deconflicting area, and was 2 armored cars plus one soft shell. And the teams were, as far as we know, already coming back from the warehouse in a way. They were targeted systematically, car by car.
Speaking via video, Andres said that IDF was aware of the convoy's whereabouts. He called for investigations of the incident by the U.S. government and by the home country of every aid worker who was killed.
This happened over more than 1.5, 1.8 kilometers. So this was not just a bad luck situation where, oops, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place or no, this was over 1.5, 1.8 kilometers with a very defined humanitarian convoy that had signs in the top, in the roof, a very colorful logo that we are obviously very proud of, but that's very clear who we are and what we do.
In fact, the World Central Kitchen founder condemned the war as a whole.
Humanitarians and civilians should never be paying the consequences of war. This is a basic principle of humanity. At the time, this looks like it's not a war against terrorism anymore. Seems this is a war against humanity itself.
And the mortal remains of 8 workers who were killed by an Israeli airstrike in Gaza arrived in Egypt on Wednesday. An ambulance convoy carrying the mortal remains crossed Rafah border after departing Gaza earlier on Wednesday. The bodies of the foreign aid workers were handed over to UN officials at the Egyptian border for transport home. The strike late on Monday night hit a convoy of 3 vehicles and killed 7 staff of the aid group World Central Kitchen, including citizens of Australia, Britain and Poland, a dual citizen of the United States and Canada, as well as a Palestinian colleague who was buried at his home. Israel said it mistakenly killed the aid workers and promised a full investigation. And a sea convoy of undelivered food for Gaza returned to Cyprus on Wednesday after the killing of 8 workers of World Central Kitchen in an Israeli airstrike on Monday evening. A cargo ship carrying 240 tons of food initially destined for the people of Gaza sailed back to Larnaca in Cyprus following the deadly attack, dropping anchor just outside the port. A second ship, the Open Arms, owned by a Spanish NGO working with WCK, arrived earlier. The undelivered aid was part of a consignment of about 340 tons sent to Gaza from Cyprus on March 30th. The aid workers killed in Gaza had just finished work unloading 100 tons from a barge also sent from Cyprus. WCK, active in Gaza since October, has paused operations in the territory after the killings and turned around its flotilla of ships back to Cyprus. An Israel War Cabinet member, Benny Gantz, called for national elections in September on Wednesday as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government faces pressure at home and abroad over the Gaza conflict. Gantz said he believed an agreed election date would allow Israeli society to renew its contract with its leadership. Gantz, a former army general, joined Netanyahu's government in the early days of the war as a gesture of political unity during the crisis.
I believe that the Israeli society needs to renew its contract with its leadership, and I think the only way to do it and still maintaining the national effort in fighting Hamas and terrorist group and other security challenges is by having an agreed election date that we have to discuss when and if.
Well, the NATO foreign ministers will meet on Thursday to celebrate the 75th anniversary of their alliance, having agreed to start planning for a greater role in coordinating military aid to Ukraine. On Thursday, the ministers will also meet with the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. On the second day of a meeting in Brussels, the ministers will mark the signing of the Washington Treaty on 4th of April 1949 of the North Atlantic Treaty that established the transatlantic political and military alliance. NATO began with 12 members from North America and Europe. At its heart is the concept of collective defense. 75 years later, NATO has 32 members and has retaken a central role in world affairs. On Wednesday, NATO ministers agreed to start planning for a greater NATO role in coordinating security assistance and training for Ukraine. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russian Deputy Chief of Mission Roman Babushkin hailed India's remarkable achievements in space exploration. And today is the last date for filing nominations for constituencies in Phase 2 of general elections. Also in IPL, Kolkata Knight Riders beat Delhi Capitals by a massive 106 runs. We'll tell you more ahead.
The largest state of India, Rajasthan, goes to polls in two phases. The battle royale for 25 Lok Sabha seats. What are the issues on the ground and who will create a storm? Join us on DD India on the Great Indian Elections, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lepakshi Kuran, and moving on, President of India, Draupadi Murmu, will visit Mumbai on Thursday to launch India's first homegrown gene therapy for cancer at IIT Bombay. The President will also dedicate it to the nation on the occasion. CAR T therapies are used mainly to treat blood cancers and have burgeoned in the past few years. The Indian CAR T therapy cost 1/10 that of comparable commercial products available globally. And Russian Deputy Chief of Mission Roman Babushkin hailed India's remarkable achievements in space exploration and underscored Russia's unwavering support for its space endeavors. On the 40th anniversary of the space flight of the first Indian cosmonaut, Rakesh Sharma, aboard the Soviet spacecraft Soyuz T-11 on April 3, 1984, Babushkin emphasized the enduring partnership between Russia and India in the space sector. Babushkin's remarks also highlight the success of the Chandrayaan-3 mission and the collaborative efforts in the Gaganyaan project. Notably, he commemorated the achievements of Rakesh Sharma, who etched his name in history as India's first astronaut.
Russia has always been favoring the Indian success. India has developed its own space research program, and it helps other countries to launch satellites. And of course, the Chandrayaan-3 mission is a great success. Russia is a sincere well-wisher of India.
And let's now get to the latest in the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, as the date draws closer for India's parliamentary elections, leaders of all political parties have intensified the campaign for polls. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address two public meetings in Indian states of Bihar and West Bengal today. Prime Minister will address his first rally at Jamui in Bihar. This would be his first rally in Bihar since the announcement of dates of elections. Chirag Paswan-led Lok Janshakti Party Ram Vilas has retained the Jamui seat in a seat-sharing agreement with BJP in National Democratic Alliance. Paswan has fielded Arun Bharati from the constituency, earlier represented by him twice in 2014 and 2019. Later in the afternoon, Prime Minister will head to Indian state of West Bengal. Prime Minister will address a rally at Cooch Behar constituency. BJP has renominated Nishit Pramanik, who is also Union Minister of State for Home Affairs, as its candidate from Cooch Behar constituency. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a social media post said, and I quote, "I look forward to being among the people of Cooch Behar to address the Bengal rally later today at around 3:30 p.m. The people there have been greatly supportive of our development agenda, and I am confident they will again place their faith in the BJP," unquote. Also, West Bengal's Cooch Behar constituency is gearing up for a fiery election campaign today. Besides Prime Minister, West Bengal Chief Minister and TMC Chief Mamta Banerjee will hold a rally. Also, Mamta Banerjee will hold a public meeting in Mata Bhanga's Gumani Hut for TMC candidate Jagadish Barma Basunia. The Cooch Behar will go to polls in the first phase of parliamentary elections. On the other hand, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge on Wednesday launched the party's Ghar Ghar Guarantee campaign. Under the program, party functionaries would reach out to 80 million households and make them aware of its 5 set of promises with 25 guarantees that the party has vowed to implement if voted to power. Kharge and other party members also distributed pamphlets about the details of the 5 sets of Congress promises that have already been announced by the party during the course of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra. Also, Congress on Wednesday announced a new list of candidates for Indian state of Uttar Pradesh for upcoming parliamentary elections. Congress nominated Mukesh Dhangar from the Mathura parliamentary seat in Uttar Pradesh. He will be facing sitting BJP MP Hema Malini. The party replaced Nakul Dubey with Rakesh Rathore as the party's candidate from the Sitapur Lok Sabha constituency. And in Maharashtra, the Congress has expelled its senior leader Sanjay Nirupam for 6 years for his anti-party statements. Early on Wednesday, the party had removed him from the list of star campaigners for the Lok Sabha elections. The development came after Sanjay Nirupam made a string of remarks against Congress India ally Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray, and its leader Uddhav Thackeray after it announced some candidates for parliamentary constituencies in Maharashtra. However, Nirupam had said he would announce his next course of action on Thursday. Well, senior BJP leader and Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh addressed a public meeting at Doda in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. In his speech, senior BJP leader listed out government's achievements and initiatives for development in Union Territory. Dr. Jitendra Singh said that even the Congress strongholds saw development only after 2014. Dr. Jitendra Singh is BJP's candidate from Udhampur Kathua parliamentary constituency. And in Indian state of Assam, campaigning for parliamentary election is also in full swing. On Wednesday, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma participated in road show in Silchar town, Kacher district, as part of the nomination filing process for a BJP candidate, Parimal Suklabedya, contesting the Silchar parliamentary constituency. The Chief Minister said that Parimal Suklabedya will win with record margin of votes. Polling for the 14 seats in Assam is scheduled to take place across 3 phases on April 19th, April 26th and May 7th. While Congress too has intensified its campaign in Indian state of Assam, Congress candidate Joaram Engleng filed nomination from Dipu parliamentary constituency. Congress is contesting 13 seats and left 1 seat for its ally Assam Jatiya Parishad. Assam has a total of 14 parliamentary constituencies. Well, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, D. Raja, questioned Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's decision to contest polls from Wayanad constituency in Indian state of Kerala. D. Raja said that Rahul Gandhi keeps talking about his fight with the BJP. However, for his electoral battle, Rahul Gandhi has chosen to fight Left Party in Kerala. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Wednesday had filed his nomination papers from Wayanad. He will face CPI candidate Annie Raja from Wayanad constituency.
When it comes to electoral battle, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has not chosen to fight BJP straight away. He has chosen to fight against left. This is what people are questioning. What message the Congress wants to send out?
Well, the notification for the second phase of the Lok Sabha election will conclude today. Elections will be held in 88 parliamentary constituency seats in 12 states and union territories, along with the remaining part of the outer Manipur constituency in this phase. States, union territories included in phase 2 are Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, apart from one part parliamentary constituency in Manipur. And in sports, IPL now, Kolkata Knight Riders beat Delhi Capitals on Wednesday by a massive 106 runs in the match 16 of this season. The VDCA International Stadium was full of cheers for Sunil Narine and Ankuresh Raghuvanshi hit half-centuries. Sunil Narine's top scored with 85 runs as the Kolkata Knight Riders tore apart Delhi Capitals bowling like cotton candy to post 272 for 7. Delhi, in response, lost 4 wickets in the power play itself. From 51 for 4, Rishabh Pant took off. Pant scored 55 runs in 25 balls, remarkably hitting 4 fours and 2 sixes of a Venkatesh Iyer over that fetched Delhi 28 runs. KKR now stands at the top of the season standings with a win in all the 3 matches so far. Meanwhile, Gujarat Titans will take on Punjab Kings in the match 17 of IPL 2024 at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad today. GT's new captain Shubman Gill has marshalled them to 2 wins in 3 games, with both the victories coming at home. Gujarat Titans have a chance to move to the top half of the IPL 2024 points table if they manage to win against Punjab on Thursday. Meanwhile, Kings had started their season with a win against Delhi Capitals at their new home in Multanpur, but suffered back-to-back losses on the road in Bengaluru and Lucknow. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lepakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.